I'm smiling because I don't want to yell too loud in the mic. It's like the voice that speaks the loudest wins.
Yeah.
That voice that speaks the loudest, and I'm very cognizant of what that voice sounds like. That voice will say, you can't do this. Russell's going to have you on his podcast. Are you sure you're ready for that? Like that voice wants to speak loudly. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Just sit down somewhere. I'm worthy of this, right? And so just really listening to the voice and which one is speaking the loudest. I am not saying I have mastered that, but I've become very good at recognizing that the truth, your brain cannot tell the difference between the truth and a lie. So I want to feed myself the truth at all times, but I want it to be positive, regardless if I think it's not going to work. But I can't imagine something not working. It's going to work. I'm going to learn something from it. And so that's how I see everything now.
So cool. When you said that, it reminded me, Annie Grace is writing another book right now, and I had a chance to read one of her chapters. She was talking about thoughts, but she said, first off, she's like, our heart beats all the time, right? Yes. And our lungs breathe. And this stuff's happening subconsciously every single day. And she's like, just the same way that your heart beats and your lungs breathe, your brain has thoughts. It's the same thing, and they just show up and they show up and they show up. And a lot of times we think that those thoughts are, it's like it's something, but it's not. It's just an impulse, just like breathing, And so the default thought for most people, even if you're successful, is the negative thought that keeps coming in, right? And like what you just said about like the loudest voice wins is fascinating, because the cool thing about thoughts is we can choose our thoughts. Like we can say, I want to think this instead, and then you can drown out these other ones. But by default, if you just sit there, all sorts of weird stuff, negative stuff flies in instantly, right? Every single time. And it's like learning how to control those. Because I can't control you can control your breathing, I guess, yes. Your heartbeat you can control. Yeah. But the thoughts, when you learn how to master that and control that, and then it shifts things, which is such a cool, anyway, I love geeking out on that kind of stuff because it's so interesting.
It is fascinating. Just think about it. Why are there some of the top 1%ers, if you really sit down and talk to them or and you sit down and have a conversation, the conversations are different. The thoughts are different. You can tell where someone is in their life based on what they say. Because when they say something, I'm thinking about what they said and what they didn't even say. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, they're just getting started. Let's say business owners. They're just getting started in business. They're coming out of corporate America. Or wait, he's experienced, he's been doing this, and I can tell if they've been working on their inner thoughts, they've been working on their self-being, and self-mastery is the word I'm looking for. So self-mastery is real, and many people won't tap into that. They want more skill. Russell, tell me how to do this. And Russell's like, wait, work on this part. No, I need to make money right now. But they're missing the most important part of the journey.
We got to trick them and sell them what they want, but then give them what they need.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because it's funny, because half the time in our programs, right, I know it's like they come in and it's like, okay, they want to learn blah, so we teach them blah. But then actually it was Frank Kern told me this. It was really fascinating. It was a $400 a month membership site, and the churn was really high. People kept canceling. So he was trying like a million different things to keep people to stick. And he's like, of all things I tested, the one that worked the best is I made module number 1 a mindset module. And then people then they actually implemented it and they had success. And but nobody, he's like, when I sold it as a benefit, no one wanted to go through the mind. I don't need mindset. I'm good. Like I'm gonna skip that. I want to get to the good stuff. But when we forced them to go through that, then they stuck longer. They did better. Like it's fascinating.
That's how I start out my programs. We go through some IEP, initiative, the effort, and the performance. We go through that and we share with them the percentage. This is, if you're operating at this level, it is a whole mastery. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's why I can't get this done. But it really helps set the next steps when they understand. And you don't really say, oh, you need mindset. Who's going to say, yeah, I need some mindset?
Yeah, give me some mindset.
No, I don't need that. It's like, hey, if you want to get to X amount of income level, let's look at step 1. What is the number one thing that most high achievers are doing? And they're thinking it's another skill, it's another strategy. No, they have really worked on themselves, and there's self-mastery that's included in that.
Yeah, 100%,
for sure.
100%.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, so now I want to talk about, as you start transitioning, right? Divorce coach, business coach, but there was something or somewhere, I don't know what happened, but I think you told me, or FHL, something the last 2.5, 3 years. What, are you allowed to say the number? Like,
yeah. $28 million.
In how many years?
In 3 years.
Okay, so what? There's a pivot point there.
Yes,
3 years ago.
yes.
What was like? What's the difference? Like what?
So right before the pandemic, I started getting on stages, and I was traveling, speaking, but it wasn't a thing. It was just part of the journey. People hear me speak like, hey, can you come speak on my stage and whatever. But then I started to make it a business. What is this line of business? And I realized, and I did some studies, speaking is the number 1 career in the world. It really is. Professional speaking people, they're nervous about it. And they say, I want to be a professional speaker, but I get nervous in front of people. Hello, so do I, for 3 seconds until I get a mic. That's why you'll hear me say I've never met a mic I did not like for 3 seconds because I had a message. And so those 3 years I went all in. And I was sharing earlier this framework that I use. I call it my $28 million runway of the 5 things, the platforms that I find myself. It's just levels, the coaching, the speaking and events. But what's happening with the essence of all of that? This is not what I do. This is who I am. I can't imagine, Russell. It's like being in the Army. I stayed 21 years because I couldn't imagine getting out and retiring. But at some point I was like, you know what? I want to do something else. I've been called to do something else. And so that pivot began to happen with all of the chaos happening in the world, all those things taking place. The pandemic was taking place. I'm like, like everyone else, what am I going to do? And I was like, just do what you're already doing, but take it online. We had thousands show up. And that's when I realized that Zoom can only get 1,000 people on there. They can't get in. What happened?
It maxed out. Come on.
Yeah, we broke Zoom. But I began to do that. And I just went all in. And it wasn't just business. I wanted to teach business from the inside out. And I began to attract some of the most amazing people. And they gave me this title, the General to Giants. They played on the military as a general, and they are the giants. And then I just rocked that out until the wheels fall off. And we are still going through that same process. I haven't changed. I just went deeper into what I wanted to do in the business industry. And it's just been a blessing. It really has.
Are you speaking mostly on your own stages, other people's? Is it a blend? Like what's it?
It's a blend. Okay. So I prefer my own because I can do it from the comforts of my home. I will go out and speak on other people's stages. I love that. And then I tapped into this thing that I can speak on other people's stages and sell their offers. So the very first time I did it, it was a Spanish speaking community. And I was nervous about going to speak there. I'm like, oh my gosh, are we going to have translators? And I was, well, how many people are going to be in this small group? I'm good. It's like, oh, it's 1,500. I'm like, what? And you want me to speak all 3 days? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay. I don't believe I cannot do anything. I am definitely the CEO, the owner, and tell my team, okay, I'm jumping off this building. Just throw me the parachute in midstream, okay? As long as I don't right before I hit the ground, I'm good. So that's what I did. And I got on this stage and it felt so comfortable. All stages feel comfortable to me. Even I had to slow down a little bit and not speak so fast so the translator could keep up. But when I tell you energy rocks any stage, it does not have any barrier. It doesn't have a language barrier. It doesn't have a money barrier. It didn't have anything. And they made their very first $2.1 million in 1 hour. I said, well, how much do you want to make? They said, oh, about 100,000. I said, dude, no, like you need to get somebody else to do that. Let's see what you want to do. And so we did that. And that began the journey of, it's the art of sales. And I call it an opportunity because I believe when you're on a stage, Russell, and you know this, I see you on the stage when you're talking, I'm just in amazement. It's just a natural thing for you. For some people, it's not. But for those of us who understand the art of speaking and sharing your thoughts and all of that for selling, it just became a piece of cake. So now it's this whole thing of, I don't want to sell for everyone, but I want to sell for those who want to help their community, who want to help the people that they serve.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't realize that's what you're doing a lot of, is selling other people's stuff.
And that was so ironic that you put me in a slot right
I have known how to plan that from day one.
I was just, we're in the future. And I asked your team, I said, hey, can I step on one of these speakers? And he thought I was joking. He said, you're serious? I said, yeah. Can I step on a speaker? I only weigh a $1.25. He's like, let me go ask. He said, well, they say it's not. I was like, oh man, because it's this energy of bring people closer to the front. And so, of course, we both know Myra, and I went through a lot of his training. But, Myra, I'll tell you, I was in this space and place when I met him. And so what I realized, how God has taken me on this journey, the more I want to become the person who could do a thing, the more he puts me in spaces and rooms with people like you all.
Yeah.
Yes.
So cool.
Yes,
when the student's ready, the teacher's all right? That's how I always feel. Every time I'm like stuck at the level and then all of a sudden someone appears, I'm like, how have I not been aware of this person for so long? It always fascinates me when that happens. And it's exciting.
That's how I got it in a circle. I was like, where is the next person? I want to understand automation. I said, there's something going on. And I went to Myra and I was like, hey, what's going on in a circle? I didn't even know it existed. I told you the story of how
you were in ClickFunnels like a decade before.
No, he was, but I just didn't know. I guess I wasn't ready, or something was taking place. I was doing some other things. And I just went, I said, hey, what's going on in Inner Circle? I want to learn more about it. He said, yeah, absolutely. I went, I talked to Steve, Inner Circle, and then I said, hey, what's the highest one? He said, yeah, no, I'm gonna be kind of way. I said, dude, are you telling me I can't be? What are you talking about? Do you know who I am?
The competitor came out.
Yeah. And he said, yeah, you keep there. And so here I am. And this is where I know I belong. And I should have been here a long time ago, but time is perfect for now.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so someone who's listening, who's right now, they're starting their coaching career, they're starting to go through here. You talked about, I think you said your 5-step framework. Do you want to kind of go through that, just like and we have probably 10, 15 minutes to go through, but just so some actionable things that people are like, okay, what should I be doing? Because maybe they're at the spot they've been doing this for a year or two, not growing, and they want to have a big pivot point like you were able to have.
Perfect. I was just sharing this with someone yesterday, and matter of fact, today, that framework in itself, even if you're just getting started, you spoke even earlier about a brand. A brand is who we are. You are the brand, honestly. And if you want to look at just when you first get started, people are looking at a particular area and they think, oh, but my industry is different. You don't understand, Russell. You don't understand, Dr. Sonja. And I'm like, dude, there's hundreds of thousands of you that I've taught and trained, and it's the same. However, you may be different with different hair, different eye color, but it's still the same issues that you have. And so if you're just getting started, really consider, where is your voice and where should it be more profound? What platform should it be? You know, we talk about social media. It's the number one free platform where you can just go viral and you can look up and hundreds of thousands of people are seeing and hearing you. Can you imagine, especially for those that are listening right now that truly believe, which camera should I look at? Because I need them to see my face. This one right here. If you're really in this space right now and you really want to help and serve people that are out there, really consider what your brand looks like. And the brand is not just them building a business. You're beyond the business. It's what is that brand? It's going to last much longer than your business ever could. And so it is thinking about, what does that coaching look like? What coaching program do you have that you can take people on a journey? And it's no longer even called coaching anymore. You're taking us on a journey. Where is the destination for that? And what are the steps we need to take, right? And then we start thinking about speaking. I always hear people, but I don't want to speak. I'm so nervous. I could talk one-to-one. And you give them a mic, they won't shut up, right? And so it's just really, what's that message? What's that one message that you could take to multiple platforms to get in front of millions of people to make millions of dollars? If you can understand and apply that framework, this is a game changer. So you're coaching, you're speaking, you're writing a book. Can I tell you something that I talk about with you all the time? Yeah. I said, if we sit down and look at what Russell is doing, he is doing this framework is the same thing. I didn't even know who you were, right, when this was developed, but it was Russell's coaching. Yes, that's a yes. Russell's writing books. Yes. Russell's speaking, whether he's having his own events or speaking on his own platform or speaking on somebody else's stage. Russell's having events all the time. And Russell's also has coaching programs that are out there. If we can really tap with that one brand and put it on all these platforms, God forbid if ads go down, what else can you do? Right? You can be on a platform. You can write your book, a book that makes you millions of dollars, not just millions of sales for books, but millions of dollars because of the content and the, I would say, follow-up that happens in a book. That's really the framework that anyone that's just getting started, if they really learn to tap into that framework, it's game changer and it's game over. And you can pull up beside someone at a stoplight and you just pulled up and they're like, where'd you come from? And you're the new kid on the block. That's how I always feel. But I showed up in the fastest, not the fastest car, but the car that has the fastest engine. And I believe that framework has the fastest engine, and that's speaking for sure.
Yeah, for sure.